Our next speaker is Boris von Bormann. He's based here in Los Angeles as chief executive of the U.S. unit of Sonnen GmbH of Germany. Now, some of you may not have heard of Sonnen, but it really is a pioneer in residential and commercial energy storage. That's important because renewables like solar and wind power won't reach their full potential until it can be stored efficiently and used as electricity when the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing. Now, the sun usually is shining here, but it isn't in a lot of parts of the country, and Sonnen is making that possible. So, Boris, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a nice break. I'm glad for the introduction because that way I don't have to speak about Sonnen, but basically in a nutshell, everything that Lyndon said is going to happen, we've already done. So just, so you know where we are. Clean and affordable energy. If you ask me why I'm getting up in the morning, why we go to work, this is why we go to work. To create really clean and affordable energy for all. I'm highlighting affordable because we can create clean energy, but it's a lot of times very expensive. In some cases, in other states, solar is not even competitive. Adding solar plus storage, not competitive. So the solution for California to get to 50% in other states where we have 100% RPS goals in Hawaii, 75% RPS goals in Vermont, combining it and making it clean but affordable is one of the key things to advancing renewable energies. And I'm not sure where I have to point this. Perfect. All right, let me introduce you to my friend here. I'm German, so I'm going to call him Fritz, if that's okay with you, unless you have a better suggestion for me here. He's really cute. However, we have a big problem in the renewable industry with the duck. You might have heard of the duck curve. What you have is you have this nice big belly, and that's the renewable generation. So you have, during the midday, you have this trough of renewable energy generation that's really almost going to bottom up. So right before Christmas, where the duck is really nice and heavy, that's pretty much what we're going to look at in 2020. I could have put the graph in here, but some of you might have seen it, and it's a little boring. I think looking at the cute duck is a little better. But then you have this long neck, and the issue what that is that we have more and more renewable generation, and during the middays, so starting at 8 a.m. in the morning, going up to about 5 p.m. in the afternoon, you have this bell curve, but it's reversed. So it's a belly of the duck, and by 2020, it's really hanging low. But then the issue is that we're going to generate that big usage at the evening hours. So solar is going to ramp down, and you have that increase of energy that's going to come up. People are coming back from work, and we have to ramp really quick in a very steep amount of time, in a short amount of time. And that's where some of the issues are in renewable generation. And what that happens is to generate that quick ramp, we need peaker plants, and peaker plants are not expensive. It's really expensive, so they're not cheap. So when I mention clean and affordable energy, that's not quite productive if you have that quick ramp, because it's just going to increase the cost of renewables. Then what we have is solar. Solar is predicted to be 50% of all renewable generation. This is one of the largest thin-film solar plants in the state. It's 535 megawatts. It looks really cool flying over. However, the problem, again, if 50% is solar, as you know, the sun, we still haven't figured out how to do solar at night. I think we're working on that, but it's not quite working out yet. That's going to increase that belly of the duck, and it might even turn out to this guy, right? So where you're going to have that really renewable generation going past 2020, where you're going to have that trough going even further, and that neck is going to get longer and longer and longer. And we're going to need an even further increased ramp and a steeper ramp and more capacity as well. So now we're saying, okay, California's got to be 50% renewable by 2020. That's looking at current 50%. However, right now what's happening, it's the electrification of everything. Right? We're riding now, we don't paddle anymore, we take our e-bike and go, we have skateboards now, we're not even kicking anymore. Obviously there are a lot of car manufacturers jumping on the game, buses, you name it, electric houses are not coming online. We're fully electric because you have solar and you can offset that. So if you're looking at 50% in 2020, what is that actually based on today's capacity? Is it really 50%, or could it be, looking right now, it should actually be 60% or 65% based on the relativity to where we are right now? And that's going to create an even bigger challenge on how to mitigate that. So this is a number that we think, Green Tech Media actually thinks is the amount of storage that's going to be deployed by 2020. So I'm talking right now at the 2020 goals. We're aligning a few things here. Storage is really the key, and that's why we're in the industry, and we hope it's the key, to mitigate the effects of renewable energy, and where we can actually store the capacity and the generation that we have during the day, no matter what time of the generation it is, and push it to those times when we need it. It all sounds very nice and easy on an individual level. On a house level, it's very easy. So we've deployed thousands of systems. We're about, I think, 14,000 systems deployed right now. And it is doable. The technology is there on an individualized level, where you just go out, you put solar on your roof, you add storage to it, you do self-consumption, you can almost be neutral to the grid. So where we don't put that belly in there and we don't put the neck in there, so pretty much have it nice, even water. We're up by the beach, so we understand that. However, if we look at the total society, it's going to be very difficult, right? So we can do it on an individualized level, and it's pretty expensive at the moment still, but it's doable. However, how do we network that? So as Lyndon said earlier, we don't want to create this parallel world of having the utility and adding the distributed energy side to it, where we're going to create this parallel universe and then try to merge it. It's not going to work that way. So we have to make sure that this is really happening on a society basis, where we network those assets, right? So we have it on a home level, where we're looking at energy management. So where we have now the technology with smart homes, with control layers, with aggregation software, and you name it, we're on an individual level at a home, we can combine all these assets. So you have your electric car, you have your storage system, you have your solar, you have your smart home, you have even your layer of tariff data. All of that, for example, in our system, is all integrated, where you don't have to worry about it, and the system just manages that for you. So it's going to make sure that when the electric car comes on, when you have excess solar power, it turns on devices, it turns on your pool pump, it starts pre-cooling your home. So all of that technology is already there, and it's really exciting. However, why do I get excited? And that's really, it's very, if you have one of those homes and it's all working in unison, it's powerful. You look at it, you look at your energy bill, it's almost zero, and you can manage all these devices. You got to geek out a little bit, but that's okay. However, then, when you combine everything and you're looking at networks, so where you're looking really at a plethora of systems that are out there, and you can network them and make them work in unison, that's where it's really exciting. We're looking at autonomous cars. I think everyone is working on cars right now. Apple, I just heard. I think we need to bring out a car, I'm not sure. But so where you have an electric vehicle, you have autonomous driving, they can't drive themselves to a gas station, so it needs to be electric. So you can have to have increased that generation capacity on the grid to mitigate for that. And then you add all the other elements to it, that can really transform and really revolutionize how we perceive energy, how we really consume energy, and also the visibility and control that we have on an individual level over our energy usage. So now comes the network part. What we, for example, have done in Germany, we have started the Sonnen community. I call it the Airbnb of energy. Maybe it's the Facebook of energy. I don't want to, piss Bill off. But it's really where we created a network where we can trade energy. Obviously, there needs to be some regulatory changes. In Germany, it's very easy. You have a deregulated retail environment. You have 800 grid operators. You sign 800 contracts. You can use the grid, and then you can be a utility. So we're a utility. A little more difficult than that, but so what we do there is, for example, if we have a customer here, and I put some LA references in there. So if you have John in Studio City, he's producing solar. Then we have Maria in Burbank. It's sunny. They're all producing solar, and they're overpowering right now, right? They're not home, they're working, but solar's performing at 12, 1, 2 p.m., and it's at its peak, and you're really pushing those electrons into the grid. However, then we have the beautiful marine layer here in Santa Monica. And Gustavo in Venice has his house and a solar system, but it's really not performing right now because we have the marine layer and the solar is not quite producing. And maybe he's sick at home or he's working from home, and so he needs his energy. but the solar is not producing really what he needs. And then what we also have is Christine, for example, and where do I put her? In downtown, perfect. So downtown, you can't put solar on the roof. You have those skyscrapers. You don't have your own solar generation. You can't participate in that revolution that we're trying to create. So that doesn't work, right? We have to make sure that everyone, if we want to create that revolution and get to those percentages of solar on the grid, of renewables on the grid, that anyone can participate. And that's what I mean for all, and it's affordable, right? So we have to make sure that we create an environment and a network where this can be shared. So this is something, for example, that we've done in Germany already, where we created this platform that when John and Maria are overproducing, they're putting that into the grid, into the virtual platform. However, then Gustavo in Venice and Christine in downtown can take that energy out of the community platform. And it's all at the same rate. So that's where this becomes powerful and where you can really create a generation. And Linda mentioned utilities have to be relevant because we don't want to create this additional infrastructure. So we're going to be utilizing the existing grid. But this is how a utility, for example, in modern worlds and in an exchange environment can stay relevant, where you add storage assets that could be deployed either on an individual level, could be deployed on a citywide level, college, it could be deployed by an individual, and on the utility side, and even operators, and that can allow you to transform the energy market to be shared. And this is really where I get excited, where we can say, okay, we're now creating an environment where you have generation. It could be on someone's room, and you don't have a place to store it, or at the moment you don't have the financial capability to buy that storage system for yourself and deploy it at your home. Now you're looking to create a community where you say, okay, I'm a generator, I'm just going to put it in. However, Christine, she's not a generator, she doesn't store it. She needs that energy. So you have direct market access to another customer where you can sell your energy. And then we're not really worried about net metering tariffs anymore. We're not worried about what's the cost here. No, it's really creating a platform where we can share that, and storage really enables that. So it's the enabler to transform that energy environment. Even though the duck is cute, but we don't really want to have it a long time. So this is really the world that I'm excited about. For some, it might be scary because we're all in a network. But it creates obviously a transparency. But this is really where we at Sonnen, and I myself, as being in the industry for a long time, get really excited about where we can create these types of networks that work together, that are interconnected, and really allow you to drive the energy storage system and renewable energies to a mind where it becomes clean. And that's what we're all looking for, right? We've seen the Aliso Canyon, we've seen other places that are not quite what we're looking for. We don't want to go into the coal age again, as some of the presidential candidates are looking at. However, there's really a move forward, and the one thing that I really want to come across and finish my statement with today is it's here right now. So Lyndon even said, and he's in the industry, he says this is the future. It's actually here right now. So we've been doing this. We've been deploying this. We have thousands of these systems out there, and that's what's exciting. So I'm just going to applaud to you that really look out there, see what's there, see how you can get involved, and create those and innovate those models that allow us to transform the energy market, give control to the user, and then really transform and revolutionize of what we're doing right now. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference.